everyone. Hope everybody out there is doing well. I, for one, am dragging. Today was the first day for back to school, and I am not a morning person. I hate alarm clocks. Whenever I have to set an alarm, my brain decides that we don't need it. We don't need the alarm clock. And so I wake up throughout the night staring, trying to figure out how many more hours I have to sleep. And as I said, I'm not a morning person, which means I am now again a frequent customer of Starbucks. But regardless of how much sleep I got, I still wanted to share with you guys my little mini book haul that I got. I know what we're in August right now. And so eventually September will be here. And I'm thinking I might have these books read by the end of September. But of course, we know that's wishful thinking on my part. But anything is possible, right? I should believe in myself. T, you're going to finish these books by the end of September. You know what? I want you guys to believe with me that I'm going to finish these books by the end of September. I want you to say the words, mecca lecca hi, mecca honey ho. Let's all believe together that T is going to finish these books by the end of September. I think for my reading list for Goodreads, I have about 10 more books left to read by the end of the year. And so if I finish these 4 books by the end of September, I'll be doing pretty good. However, I think Goodreads might be a little concerned if I read 4 books in 1 month. I could just read the email now. T, there's a little inconsistency when it comes to your account. We've noticed that you've read 4 books in 1 month. Do we need to be concerned? But there's nothing wrong with trying something new, right? I mean, I see other people reading like 17 books in 1 month. And I'm like, what's that? 1 book every 2 days? How are they doing that? When do you find the time? And what books are you reading that are holding your attention that much? But if they can do it, I can do it. But anyways, I wanted to share with you today 4 books that I found to be quite intriguing. And as I said, I hope they hold my attention and I get to read them by the end of next month. So first up, I wanted to share with you guys Home Before Dark. Home Before Dark is written by author Riley Sager, and all these books are written by authors I've never read before. Home Before Dark centers around a woman by the name of Maggie Holt. And Maggie Holt is a restorer of homes, and she grew up as a young child in a home called Baneberry Hills. There was some kind of sinister things going on in that home, and her father ended up writing a book about it, sort of like your Amity Hill type book. However, because Maggie doesn't remember any of the things that happened as a child, she doesn't believe it, and her father passes away, and she ends up going back to the home to restore it before, I guess, maybe selling it off. I'm not sure. But while she's there, the people in the town are like, they don't want her there because her father brought bad publicity to the town. And while Maggie's there, she starts to see some crazy things happening in the house, and she starts to believe that maybe what her father wrote about might be real. And so next up, we have The Perfect Marriage by author Geneva Rose. And so in this story, we meet a woman by the name of Sarah, and Sarah is a lawyer, and she's doing pretty well for herself. However, her husband, he's not doing that well in his career, and he's a little threatened by Sarah's success. And so because of that, he decides that he's going to have an affair. Unfortunately for him, the woman that he's having an affair with, she ends up dead. But the thing is, for some reason, Sarah decides that she's going to defend him. Do you think you could defend your husband if he was cheating on you and the woman died? I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Next up, we have The Silent Patient by author Alex Michaelides. So in this book, we have this woman by the name of Alicia, and Alicia is a very successful painter. One evening, Alicia comes home and she shoots her husband 5 times. And the thing about that is she goes silent after she kills her husband. So they can't really prosecute her because they feel that she's like psychologically off. So she ends up in a psychological hospital for the criminally insane. And so because there's this big mystery around why she's not talking, this criminal psychiatrist by the name of Theo decides that he's going to be the one that's going to get her to talk, and he's going to find out exactly what happened, what made Alicia kill her husband. And so last but not least, we have If He Had Been With Me by author Laura Nolan. And I have already started reading this book. I am 82 pages in, and this is sad. I have a piece of notebook paper holding my part in this book. I lost my bookmarks and I don't know where they are. I have a bad habit of misplacing stuff. I gotta stop doing that. So in this book, we meet a 15-year-old by the name of Autumn, and Autumn is friends with the boy next door named Finn. Both their mothers were neighbors and pregnant at the same time, which made them close growing up. However, the thing about that is they eventually grow apart. Autumn is kind of the weird girl in school, and Finn is handsome and he's the easygoing guy that everybody wants to be friends with. So after middle school, the two of them, they grow apart. And so the thing about the story is, even though they have grown apart, Autumn has feelings for Finn, but she's not really sure what her feelings are. If she likes him like that, or if it's still a little bit left over from their friendship growing up. And so the thing is, the reason why this book is entitled If He Had Been With Me is at the beginning of the story, we read about a car crash that involves Finn and his girlfriend Sylvie. And so we're not really sure if something happened to Finn or whether or not there was even any sort of casualty in the story. Autumn does talk about the before, when her and Finn were close. But as I said, we don't know exactly what happened. And I'm hoping that nothing happened to Finn because I'm kind of invested in these characters right now. I'm really hoping I get to the end of this book before the week's end. I really want to know what happens. So those are the 4 books in my mini haul. I'm really excited for these picks. I cannot wait to read all of them. I hope y'all guys, let me know what y'all have picked up. If y'all have found, I haven't read a lot of young adults lately. If you find anything young adult that, that you're reading right now that you need to share with somebody, let me know. So thank you guys again for sticking around. And until next time, you guys take care, stay safe, and try to do something nice for a stranger so we can all do our part to make this world a better place.